could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. Your check is I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place. I wanna be first, work till it hurts. Dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off, I'ma break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft, you can change lives, you create thoughts. Never waste time, you got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off, what do you like? Make a dream job, no 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. Your check is I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place. I wanna be first, work till it hurts. Dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off, I'ma break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft, you can change lives, you create thoughts. Never waste time, you got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off, what do you like? Make a dream job, no 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test, expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second, this life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing, new focus, no guessing, just bold enough.
Hey, my loves. Yes, we are starting early today. Hey, Spice. Hey, Summer. Hey, Nick. Hello, my bush babies. Don't forget to press that like. We're starting early because I would like to go over Aaron. And then later on tonight, we will be going over Musa, right? And I wanted to make it separate because I want to know what y'all really think about the Trey 6ix9ine and the Musa situation. And somebody please tell Hadu, yes, that's her man and everything, but she ain't got nothing to do with this. She wasn't there. She ain't got nothing to do with this. But Lisa says what did a phenomenal interview with Aaron. But before we get to the interview, I done told them leave Aaron alone now. I done told them y'all better leave him alone now. But no, they don't want to listen, right? Right? And Aaron, Aaron get when he get on that shit, he on that. Y'all better leave him alone. I try to tell you guys, stop playing with people, right? So I think you're gonna say what you want. Like I care about you guys. I hope you get out, but stop effing with me, right? You're making my name look bad. So, okay. Now y'all leave me alone. I'll leave y'all alone. I hope y'all go. But this is this is that part. Then we're gonna get a little bit into the interview. I think I seen it a little bit late because I've lost track of the time. So I ended my live to check that out, right? All right. And then on World did a good one with Serenity and Rambo. Poor Serenity. She can't get over that man for nothing. She still got hope. I'm like, I'm gonna do a whole different video on Stockholm syndrome. That's gonna be another one too. We're gonna be doing that because I feel for these people, right? I feel for them. I feel for them. They got Stockholm syndrome. They gonna miss him. They miss him. Right? Even though they know he's all these bad things, they know he's everything in the book and then some. What I guess they got so used to seeing him and they developed a love-hate relationship with him. Like I know what he's doing wrong, but I'm used to seeing him. So I think they're probably going through a remorse stage for some people. The other people, they're going to, damn, I do the same thing, right? So I better be careful. They can get him, they can get me, right? So let's start. And then this is before the interview, but this is why I said they better stop playing. They better stop playing with Team A, goddamn it. Y'all Team D for a damn reason. Y'all Team D for the reason. Stop. Well, let's go.
I know y'all knowledge better than y'all do.
I just said that. I did. Oh, remember, I did not see this. I didn't see this. So it's my first time seeing this. I like to be just as shocked.
If you continue to follow this man,
Hold it.
this the same
Hold
man
it.
that told you to determine just leave. You ain't even got to tell nobody around you. Just leave. I'm sure that each and every one of y'all have at least one person
Oh, free Malaya. Free Malaya.
know you can go to and stay with until you get yourself together. So I'm gonna continue to clown Eligio Bishop to show y'all that ain't nothing bad gonna come from you going against this
Yes,
man.
continue. Continue.
But it is a possibility
Mm-hmm.
that something bad can happen to you if you continue to follow this man. This the same
Hey,
man
Empress.
that told you to determine your teacher by what your boy said. Y'all be acting like I wasn't in carbonation. I know y'all knowledge better than y'all do. He said that you judge a tree by its fruit. Look at where your teacher is. If you want to know where somebody's information is going to get you, look at where they are. Do y'all want to be in prison? I don't think so. That's the question you got to ask yourself. Nobody's going to look at you as a traitor or disloyal if you leave Allegio Bishop alone. This is not a baby. Y'all acting like y'all leaving a child in a car. Allegio Bishop is 40 something years old. Question you got to ask yourself. Nobody's going to look at you as a traitor or disloyal if you leave Allegio Bishop alone. This is not a baby. Y'all acting like y'all leaving a child in a car. Allegio Bishop is 40 something years old. Hold this man accountable because he's not going to do it himself. And I could be wrong, but I'm just gonna say this. But y'all should be ashamed of yourself sitting up there with Apple Watches on and your sister in jail. Your sister in jail. Somebody paying y'all rent, but y'all can't get Zoka out. Zoka, these folks showing you they don't care about you, bro. But don't hold it against them because you know that they ain't there yet. They gotta, man, if y'all only knew how messed up and what was done to the people that's still defending Allegio Bishop. Imagine what wasn't recorded. If he that bad on the internet, imagine how bad he is when nobody looking. He's a habitual liar. The investigators asked him, did he finish high school? He told me, yeah, I did 12. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't finish high school. Like, you can't even tell the truth about your goddamn education, bruh. What is wrong with you? God, dog. Boy, you can't even tell the truth about your secondary schooling. That boy lied about his height and weight.
I can't take him. I can't.
Oh my
I can't
God.
have
That
mercy.
boy will lie about his height and weight on a physical exam. Bruh. Yo. Dog. What is wrong with you, man?
Who is the someone? Hey, y'all's child. Emperor. Yes. Woo. Who is the someone? We already know they jumped her. Hey, Cyrus. Salute to you. Yeah, who is the who, y'all's child? We need to know who. We need to get it. And that'll be the best day. that'd be the best day. And for all these people that was not in combination, and you got people that was in there saying, hey, this was happening to us, and then the best you could come up with is that's what they liked. No, no. They said gave you permission to beat them up all the time, but I don't think anybody likes that. Y'all need anything to say because you can't negate because you wasn't there. You can't negate what they're saying because you wasn't there. And that's thinking Khadijah, nobody want to see her. I don't want to see her. I don't want to hear from her. I ain't like her then. I ain't like her now. I ain't like her. There's no need for her to get any airtime. Well, she could, just she won't get no airtime from me. Right? So this is not that space where any of his lovers. Now, if you want to talk about the Stockholm syndrome, I get it. Just like somebody came, was it on here? And it was like, you know, they could feel like I understand it's you only could go but so far with that. But let's go. But let me know who is the someone that said it. Yeah, please. Thank you. That is though. No, you is that though? I don't know who though is. That's Aaron, yeah. That's what you mean. But you said, hey, someone said Malaya left and went home. They said INF. Yeah, that we know, but I need to know. That was the Caucasian girl that was there who was paying, who tricked all her money, but she wasn't a member, but she just came to trick all her money. And she was doing 50 million interviews and stuff. Tell her nobody come to see her.
Bruh. That boy went in the army. He went in the army. That boy ain't got no DD-214, no nothing. Because if he had a DD-214, they would have said that. They would have, you think they would have said something about a got D barbershop and not mention his military service? That boy wasn't in no military. You a lie. Because they would have made sure and they would have said that he was a service member because that make you look good. They didn't say nothing about him being a service member. All they talk about is a got D barbershop. Oh, he cut hair. Oh Lord, what a great service to the community. No disrespect to the barbers, because barbers do change people's personality. You look better, you feel better, you do better. But all y'all had was a got D barbershop. Oh, that changes everything. He was a barber. Well, now that you mentioned that he was a barber, yeah. What an amazing service to the collective. Now you didn't say he cut hair. Oh, we. Wait a minute. You didn't say he cut hair. Right. Now, listen, I understand he destroyed lives. But did you know he cut hair? Did you know he gave one of the meanest fades in the Atlanta metro area? That boy can blend. That boy blends haircuts like a smoothie. Do you hear me? They should have had me represent that boy. Oh my God. He blends. Your Honor, I think you need to consider that. And that boy was booted with the Clippers. That's the crazy part about it. That boy was booted with the Clippers too. Pushing folk back. That boy was booted with the Clippers. Jack cut better than him. Side note, Jack's cut hair better than his master teacher do. Jack's cut hair better than God. Oh, yes. Oh, boy. That boy cut hair better than God. Oh, man. Where am I? How did all this happen? Bro, he told us up, bro. But what else you were gonna do? That boy Jax is phenomenal. That boy phenomenal. That boy Jax is phenomenal. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Sammy, I'm telling you, man. I posted it on so when it comes, this is how it's really gonna go, y'all. As far as y'all understanding what happened, right? So it's two things that's blocking y'all from understanding what happened. One, you wasn't there, and that's not no disrespect. I'm just saying, when you're not present for something, it your ability to understand the situation. And two, what was the freaking second thing? You wasn't there. Oh, the second thing is like this, right? I'm sure there's a lot of women in this chat who have had a child, who have given birth, right? Right? I'm sure if I said who in here has given birth, a lot of hands will go up. So here's the thing with that. I can go online and I can watch videos about giving birth. I can read articles. I can listen to an interview with you about what it was like. But because I'm a man, I will never know. I will never know what it's like to give birth. All of these other things around it can try to help paint a picture for what it's like being in a cult. I don't want you to have that experience. You know, when you go from what do they call it? For a woman to enter, for a female to enter womanhood, usually that's associated with having a child. Amongst females, I would imagine that y'all have like an unspoken thing with each other where if you have had a child, you have now crossed over into womanhood. I know that that's not like a set in stone thing, but I'm just trying to go somewhere here. When you have a child, you have entered a new group of women who have also had children, and y'all know without saying anything what it's like to have a child, even though those experiences are different. That's why Denedric, I don't have to explain to Denedric what it was like to be in carbonation. He was there. I don't have to explain it to Courtney. I don't have to explain it to Dalen. They know because they was there. They don't have to read a book. They don't have to watch a video. They was there. They know what it's like. They know how you can be underneath that type of influence. So I'm glad y'all will never know what it's like. I'm glad y'all don't understand, because in order to understand, you would have to be in that situation. And I don't
Welcome, Velmer. Welcome.
Just like I don't want to have kids. Just like I'm glad for whatever reason I came through this thing as a male. I'm glad. I don't want to know what it's like to have no menstrual cycle. I don't want to know what it's like to have kids. I'm straight. I'm good. I don't want to have no breasts. I don't want that. I just, Lord have mercy. Sometimes I look at females and I be like, thank you, Lord. If you can hear me, I don't know if I had to pick, like it was on a video game, which one do you want to be, M or F? Before I came here, I picked M. I was like, what is it? It was like, pick one. It was like, what does it mean? Pick one. So I picked M.
I can't. I can't with him. I can't. Mm-mm-mm.
Life without parole is not right. And what are you hoping to do about that in this comment section? What are you hoping to accomplish in this comment section? If you feel so, it's in your soul that life with parole is not right. It's not right. If it's not right, what do you hope to accomplish by telling us that in the comment section? Go to the legal system, file an appeal, and state your case. But I know you said that just to be contradictory because of the flow of where we're going. And we will send you back to the same place you're I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because Marcus Aurelius, the best revenge is to not be like your enemy. So I'm not going to dog you out. I'm just going to do you like they do at the club. You act up. They don't shut the whole club down. They don't shut the club down. They escort the people who are causing trouble out of the club. When you disrupt the classroom, they don't shut the class down. They take you out the classroom. And I don't understand why people are trying to put restrictions on me and my decision to talk about my own story. Now, I could see if I was sitting up here running my mouth about something that ain't my business. But I'm talking about my life here, man. I can talk about this every day, all day, until the day I die. Because it's my story. Lord have mercy. But we're going to get you out of here, and we ain't going to dog you out. We ain't going to dog you out.
He's like, I have matured. I have matured.
Mm-hmm. We're going to do you just like security. Security don't argue with you. They're going to get you out of here. We'll holler at you. You understand what I'm saying? And if it's not right, listen, to everybody that feels like Eligio Bishop's sentence was an injustice, this is what you do. You get online, because I know you got internet. If you don't got internet, McDonald's got free Wi-Fi. Go in there, get your hamburgers, some nuggets, chill, dip them, barbecue, sweet and sour, dip your fries in there, get a water cup, go online, how to file an appeal in the state of Georgia. You download the PDF file, you fill it in, and you submit it to the proper channels. That's it. Because trying to get me to stop talking about Eligio Bishop is not going to get him out any faster. The clock is ticking. You better stop playing. Because it said 30 days, not 30 business days. So today don't count. Well, today do count.
Uh-oh.
So y'all got
I can't.
27 days.
I can't.
You better leave me alone because the clock ticking. Because as soon as April 1st get here, it's over, homie. You better get to typing. You better get to printing. You better get you a library card. Stop playing with me. You got 28 days later. You got 28 days, homie. Better hurry up. Because when April 1st come, boy, y'all better hurry up. I'm going to make me a countdown clock. Last time until time to file an appeal. Y'all better hurry up. Because you know Saturday, Sunday count. Huh?
I ain't gonna dog you out, but
Lord have mercy. Thank you, Darcy. Now ain't that? Now look at that, y'all. What how they say at church? Look at God. Goofy boy, last day to file an appeal is on April Fool's. Now, if that ain't God or the universe or karma, I don't know what is. Lord have mercy. on that boy's soul. The full last day to file an appeal.
Look,
We need to change that to Natureboy Day. Anybody in agreement? We gonna have
hey, I
let's
say,
do a petition. We only need 100 signatures.
I
We
feel
gonna
you.
change it to Natureboy Day. You thought he was getting out. Yo, some of y'all just as some of y'all mind be working just like mine with these jokes, bro. You thought he was getting out. April Fool. Look how they say at church. Look at God. You thought he was getting out. April Fool. April ain't the fool. You is.
Don't forget, right after this, we will be covering the Musa /
April ain't the
963.
fool. You is. Lord Jesus. Come. Lord Him Jesus. Somebody come turn my phone off.
Oh,
But I said I was going live tonight, but I finished my project early. I was supposed to be eating some cereal right now. I forgot. Okay. Lord Him Jesus. Oh man. Oh man. See, I
is
would have
this the
never put them
Ashe
two
who
together.
blew this thing
The
up?
fool's last day to file an appeal
Is that the Ashe
is on
who
April
blew this
Fool's.
thing up?
You being set up.
If
Look
that's
like you
you,
being set up by God. Like
my
God
cap go off
dang.
to you.
He think he being set up by the government. Boy, you being set up by the stars and the galaxies. This is way bigger than the government, boy. Don't take it personal, Carol. Don't take it personal. When it comes to people who support Mr. Bishop, my theory, right? Because I don't have the answer. And I don't know you know what I mean? Like, this is just an opinion. My two reasons, my theory for the people who still support Eligio Bishop, one, they don't want to accept the fact that they donated money, went live, and shook hands with a rapist. So so they gotta support him. And two, some people want attention. And so they just go against the grain just for the sake of going against the grain. So we ain't worried about them. Yeah, he in there talking about some I love myself.
You know what? He said, I just like to say to you guys, just remember for the people, right, that is saying that well, it was just about the trial. See, y'all gonna have to choose a struggle because your character goes with the trial. Look, and y'all know that. That's why y'all need character witnesses, right? Y'all need witnesses if they were there, and you need witnesses to talk about your character. Nature did not have that. His character, if his character was he was a cult leader, then that is his character. That cannot go unheard. It cannot. And instead of Mr. Booker, which I'm not telling him to do his job, but he should have focused on that also, and maybe in a good light. You know, he didn't really know what he was doing. He didn't know how to paint a picture. He was doing so much technical work He didn't know how to take the potato. He got a lot to say now. Now I want to know if you is the Ashe Divine, the original Ashe, who blew it up. Who was the one who blew it up by him being an escort or whatever? Because if that is you, I tip my hat off to you. You did. If that's you, you did your thing, and I appreciated every bit of your work. Right. So if that's you, I get to say that to you. And if it's not, and just tell her I said so. I always give props where they do. I give the props where they go. Because it says reloaded. So I don't know if that's her, if that's you or not. But boy, did you do your thing, baby. Very intelligent woman. And don't play with, don't bother her neither. Don't play with her neither. Right? Don't play with her. He said he wasn't going back live to April on his birthday. I don't I don't know if that's her love me more. So don't tell her she can't drop it anyway. She's not a mod. But I don't know if that's her first. We gotta see if that's her. Nature Boy put his lawyer down. And Booker was busy listening to his so-called wives. Uh-huh. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Um that's why his lawyer was very confused. Exactly. Exactly. He too busy. They say he ain't taking what we giving. You are not, you're the wannabe lawyer, but you're not the lawyer. All that he didn't do it. You wasn't in the room. And nothing y'all say is valid. Anybody could say that for somebody whom they love. Oh, my baby didn't do it. Not my son, not my daughter. Everybody that's in jail, somebody said that same thing too, right? Until they found out it was true, right? And if you was lucky, you found out it was false. If you were lucky, right? So, like I said, with a case like that, Mr. Booker, he, number one, he didn't know what he was getting himself into, and the things he stayed away from, he was not supposed to stay away from. He should have tapped into that and made it human, because he is representing a monster. He is a monster, right? And even for the ex-carbonation members, I know it's hard for people gotta remember, he created that circumstance, right? They did what they did in the stuff he created. He created all of that. He created the argument. He created the beatings. He created all of that. And they don't perfect? Nope. Did they get themselves into it? Yep. Should they have gotten out? Yep. But at that point in time, once they're locked in, they're locked in. Once they're locked in, they are locked in. Hey, truly blessed. Welcome. Even like I said, but me, like people can y'all could say however how y'all feel also is however how you guys feel. I'm not here to say no, feel like how y'all feel too, because that has to get nature nut has to get out of everybody's system, right? He has to get out of everybody's system. That's why another reason why I'm glad he is locked up. So then we can look at them other ones. There's other nature boys that's out there too. There's other nature nuts that's out there. But he's people whoever's been watching him and them, he's in everybody's system. That's why we're covering him now. He's in the system. We got to start weaning him out the system. Right? People got so used to watching him every day, damn near all day. We watched their lives, even though we did not like what we were seeing. But oh no, you don't have to, baby. You don't. I never asked you, and I never. I'm just reviewing. I'm just going over. But mm, But I still like to finish this because I still have a 963. I'm gonna do 963 and or 369, whatever. But I'm gonna just call her Treasure, right? I'm gonna do Treasure and Musa later. I want to do it each of them separately. I'm gonna do them separately, right? So the video don't be so long. I know we get down over here, boy. We be 5, 6 hours, 7 hours. We don't play over here. But I'm gonna try to do it separately. That's why I'm starting a little bit early. So we're gonna start with him. Right after that, we're gonna do because I want to know really how y'all feel about that situation with the Musa and Musa. I don't know, but he looks. I don't know what that man is on, but he need to get off of whatever he on, right? And tell Miss Hadu that is not a way to keep a man. Look good and sound good, but let's go.
You should have. Ain't this the same person that said that whatever you focus on,
My cat is fine. It's well, he was
you gonna
terrible
bring in
this
your
morning.
reality?
Terrible.
All the real Negroes is in jail. All right. That's not true. I love my cellmate.
Mm, 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 mm. Mm, mm, mm.
I seen this meme, right? And it made me think about the current cult members. When Nature Boy go to prison, they gonna say he ain't going to prison. He going to a 1-bedroom apartment with stainless steel appliances in a gated community
Oh my God.
with free meals
Who said
and a
that?
recreation program.
Who said that? Who said that? Who said that?
Yo, they listen. Delusion.
Who said that? Y'all people got jokes, man.
I seen this meme, right? And it made me think about the current cult members. When Nature Boy go to prison, they gonna say he ain't going to prison. He going to a 1-bedroom apartment with stainless steel appliances in a gated community with free meals and a recreation program. Yo, they listen. Delusion knows no limitation. Poppy's not in prison. Poppy has a 1-bedroom apartment with stainless steel appliances with free meals in a gated community with a recreation program. He's not in prison. Okay. With amenities, with free amenities, with paid utilities. Thank you, Flawless. I mean, Ariel. They talking about free Nature Boy, but have not made not one post about Jayon. I hope you see that, Jayon. They haven't even put up one post. Not one nothing. Hey, we need some funds so we can get Jayon out of jail. Your bond can't be that high. Your bond cannot be that high. You didn't do a violent crime. You basically did a petty crime. Even though it's serious to be having contraband, they have not. But even if they ain't even attempt 1,500. Wait, hold on. Is the bond 1,500?
No,
Or is it
15,000.
1,500 to get her out?
1,500 to get out.
Which one is it?
1,500 to get out. Well, 1,400 to get out. It's
We should go down
14,000.
there. We should go down there and bond Jayon out. Like, be like, what you think about this? Yo, we should go get Jayon out and be like, what you think about this? This ain't who you was expecting, was it? Jayon Marie Hamilton, your bond has been posted. She thinking it's them. We be out there like, nah, this ain't who you thought it was. You ain't expect it to be us, huh? They done left her in DeKalb County. They done moved to wherever they about to transfer him to. Y'all want to go get, man, let's go get Jay.
Yeah, exactly. I say, ooh, something.
And
I'm
if she
like,
try to go back with him, we call the police on her. Under one circumstances, if she go back and be with them, we call the police again. Now, welcome home, Zoka. Yeah. Sure enough. Playtime over, boy. What y'all want to do, bro? Because how much? Listen, it's 140 people in the room. Everybody put in $10. We get Zoka.
you know,
Everybody get $10. We can get Zoka out. Ain't that crazy? But where's the carbonation supporters at? Hoes. Let me not call y'all out y'all name. Excuse me. We're not going to do that. Cowards. Where's the carbonation supporters at?
they ain't care 2 hits about Zoka.
You mean to tell me y'all ain't got enough people where everybody can gather up $50 and get Jayon out? But y'all worried about Eligio Bishop. Y'all can't get Zoka out. We got enough people right now in this room. Everybody put up $10. You need your $10. I get it, Queen. I'm just saying. It ain't that hard to get Zoka out. That's the point. That's the whole point I'm trying to prove. It ain't that hard to get Zoka out. Them Apple Watches y'all got on, they at least gonna get you $200. Y'all Apple watching?
Wow.
I know y'all ain't Apple watching. And I'm in jail. Everybody talking about I support Eligio Bishop. Jayon's last name is Hamilton, but you won't find her by that name because I believe she's still listed underneath that fake name she used. Apple Watches ain't cheap.
I didn't even see they
the
watches.
cheapest one you can get probably about $150.
Who saw they watches?
You know what I'm saying? Not unless it'll be used or whatnot, but
even if they sleep, boy, they're gonna hear that.
You mean tell me right now
up
in
that
this
phone.
room, let's say everybody in this room supported Jayon. Yeah, Kyrenda Carter. Let's say everybody in this room supported Jayon. We would only need $10 a piece to get her out right now. But you know, Goofy Boy done got on the phone and told them, don't worry about Jayon. This her karma for having a baby with Courtney. This her karma for having a baby with Solar. He done told him some goofy junk like that. I wouldn't be surprised if he told them, don't worry about who's more important. Me? If it wasn't for me, she wouldn't exist. Man, that man told them folk to leave that girl in there.
Hey, Booski.
So y'all paying y'all rent every month, but y'all can't get Zoka out. If I knew she would not go back, I would donate. Man, y'all know how it is. I don't, it's different ages up in here, but y'all know how it is when you young. Sometimes.
Nah, you can't. You can't, Miss Doubles. You cannot.
You have to learn from the experience.
You cannot.
So I hope that even though she's in jail, I hope that she's had enough distance from them
had them
to start thinking for herself.
Oh, you seen their watches?
Their actions and stop going for what they say.
Watch us.
Because I hope she feel a deep sense of betrayal that y'all left me in here. Forget all that spiritual crap you be talking about. Y'all left me in here. Yeah, I feel you, Beauty. I think she need to stay in there a little bit to let that separation sink in so she can really start thinking about what she's doing. Because the only appeal, y'all gonna have to appeal the orange, because y'all ain't getting no appeal. You gonna have to peel the orange, because that's it, bro. That's it. That's about all the peeling y'all gonna be doing. Y'all have to peel some fruit, because that's it. Do you not? And I'm gonna say it again. March 8th will make 2 months. She just been sitting there. Y'all gonna be peeling oranges. That's it. That's all y'all gonna be peeling is oranges and bananas. That's it. Because if you think they talk about the Supreme Court, in order to, y'all got to understand the chain of command. In order to get to the Supreme Court, you have to go to the Supreme. I think somebody look this up if y'all don't mind, because my laptop is charging. If I'm not mistaken, you have to go. Georgia has its own Supreme Court, if I'm not mistaken. So in order to get to the Supreme Court of the United States, you have to go through the proper channels of the state in which you was convicted. And in order for your appeal to even be considered, there has to be a valid reason. State Supreme Court. That's what I thought. I thought each state has its own Supreme Court. So you mean to tell me you think that the Supreme Court of Georgia is going to overturn its own conviction without any additional evidence? What, y'all gonna send them videos? The only way an appeal gets expedited is when you have DNA evidence or some type of video recording or some type of real evidence. Y'all about to go ahead though. I said this though. I had a discussion with somebody and I said the first thing they gonna do,
what's the matter,
if he get convicted, is they gonna try to appeal it. And here they are.
Hey Sean, welcome.
But I hope they don't kill themselves, because when this appeal don't go through, what do you say next? That I can't even wrap my mind around what's the next step when the appeal doesn't go through. Thank you, Tink. And Tink, I said, look, check that out. Check this out too, Tink. I said I had that thought too, but check this out, Tink. Wouldn't it be sad if a lawyer just did it just to take their money?
Oh,
I'm not on that, oh, the government is corrupt crap. But I'm just saying, we know that there's corrupt people in different places. Wouldn't it be sad if a lawyer just took their money just to file the appeal, even though he know it ain't going nowhere? That would be sad, bro.
like Booker took him
waste all that money.
Like Booker
just
took
so
it.
They can have the appeal submitted, and the lawyer like it didn't go through. You knew that before you took the money. Let me see this. Who this is? Eligio Bishop. Okay, let me check. That nigga ain't getting no appeal. But y'all want me to submit it. It's gonna be $2,000. My boy Jeffro went and got the stats on them boys. Jeffro ain't playing. You know you a real researcher when you use parentheses in the comment section. That boy out the chain. That boy used parentheses and everything. That boy's a real researcher. My boy said, by the Court Statistics Project, one showed that there's about a 10% chance of winning a reversal in the Georgia criminal case. And look, Jeffro, that 10% chance is when you even got good evidence for the appeal. They don't have none. So we can cut that down to one. There's a 0 point. There has to be a chance. It can't be a 0% chance. They about to go up there and say, we want to file an appeal because it was unfair. I'm telling you, happy to be me. If he was in Texas, that boy would have been getting lethal injected. And then they would have said, we're going to resurrect Poppy on the third day. Oh, hold on. My boy said you cannot present new evidence in the appeal. They would have to go for a new trial. The appeal would just be based on discrepancies in said case, but no new evidence. Oh, you can't introduce new evidence. Okay. Dog. That boy would have got, that boy was in Texas. They would have put that boy on they would have gas chambered that boy. Right, forever grateful. That's the point. Like, so did y'all not pay attention to how a trial goes? Let me explain something to y'all if y'all watching this. Y'all can try to say it's unfair, whatever. Okay. But there's elements that you cannot get around. In the state of Georgia, you don't have to put your hands on nobody. Coercion and intimidation you cannot give consent under the threat of intimidation or coercion. We also know that if a person says no, that is a relinquishment of consent. Even if they say yes beforehand, you could have had sex with them 3 times. Y'all could have been butt naked outside in front of everybody last week. But the moment a man or woman says no, that's the end of the consent. It's over. It doesn't matter if it's your wife. It doesn't matter if you paid a prostitute. When somebody says no, that terminates the consent. Now, Goofy Boy, y'all Messiah, like Medea be saying, aka Chief Papa John Hot Pocket.
That's sad.
His own interrogation
said
that she said no. But when he realized in that moment, he realized that he had effed up. He tried to clean it up. That's why the jury played it again.
Duh.
They played it again, and you hear it clearly. Goofy Boy said, she said no. Wait, what? She said what? And no, not no, like, no, get off me, but no, like, no, stop.
No. It's not only did she say no, he even went to explain why she said no. Nature not even explained it. She said no, and then and then the thing was, I don't want to do this no more. So not only did she say no, she explained what her no meant, right? I don't want to do this no more. So people are trying to say, and I see them, and I'm disappointed in some people, but it doesn't matter if I'm disappointed or not, right? It doesn't matter. Now they're trying to say without the other witnesses, then he would have won. No. These are just some people who people got to remember a lot of stuff that happened to the people that was, I don't know how this goes. And if anybody know how it go, let me know. But I think certain things happened to them. They were not in America. So that was their way of telling their experience. Maybe that's why they could not press charges themselves. I don't know how it go. I don't know if you got to go back to wherever it took place. So that was the purpose of them, because they hurt so bad. They wanted to tell their story because it would not have been heard. It would not have been heard. That's why they wanted to say them last words to him, because it would not have been done. They would never have had a chance to do that. So, like I said, if anybody knows the rules of how they go, let me know. I could be right. I could be wrong. I don't know. Right. But a lot of this stuff did not happen on U.S. territory. You said, I think so too, unless they went to international police. Yes, exactly. Right. Now, can they do that and want to do that? But I think this is what brought them peace. That, you know what, it may not happen here, but I want to tell my story. So yes, I would be a witness, but it had nothing to do with they needed them to win the case. I think they did that on their own. They did that on their own. But it doesn't take away if they was not there. Nature Boy already described the crime scene. Satin already described. He already described the crime scene himself. Well, let's go.
So you tried to clean it up. Nature Boy was the best witness in the case. Y'all talking about the prosecution and the defense and the judge. Nature Boy provided all the evidence.
And then
we just showed up.
And then I forgot I was getting ready to say. Dagger, I guess when I remember, I would say something. Oh yeah, remember I said they was caping so hard for him, but little did they know, they sitting up there, friend, whoa, whoa, rah, shisco, rah, shisco, bye. But little did Nature Boy tell them that, hey, I told on myself. I told on myself, but I didn't do it. But I told on myself, but I didn't do it. I know he's sitting back going, what had I done got myself into? What have I done? He's sitting back right now trying to figure out what he got himself into, baby. Yes, he is. He's trying to figure out what did he get himself into.
Up to confirm it. And 99% of the world know that. And then you have the 0.0% who need him to be innocent because otherwise they supported a rapist and they can't handle that.
And they deviant themselves. All his homeboys are just like him.
He cannot shut up. Even before his own sentencing, he should have just sat there. He should have told the judge, I have nothing to say. But you get on there after people have testified and cried and poured their heart out. Your response to all of that, I forgive you. Man, body slam this fool. Your Honor, throw the Carnegie Library at this boy. I said it. I said I believe that nobody is free of shortcomings. I said it. I said it. I said I believe all mistakes are forgivable if one has the courage to admit them. I believe that to this day. But Goofy Boy, even to this day, he don't think he did nothing wrong, which means that you can't be around nobody that has an inability to see how their actions affect other people. You automatically dangerous. Each and every one of us gonna mess up one way or another until the day we die. But we have the ability to be like, man, I'm sorry, bro. My bad. Let me correct that. Let me fix that. Let me be more aware of that. Not Goofy Boy. He don't get it. He don't get it. He can't get right of 2024. He can't get right. Matter of fact, he can't get right, because can't get right actually did get right. He got out of jail. So I'm not even gonna do can't get right like that. If Nate Allegio Bishop is an African rhino's booty hole. If I had to, if just that he is an African rhino's booty hole. That is what he's worth. That's what he's worth. That boy is doodle booty trash. I'm telling you, burning this sage. Something wrong with that boy. And if y'all in the jail, the guys in the jail, don't cut him no slack. Don't cut him no slack. Don't cut him no slack. Make him put him on draws, ironing duty. Make him re-rack the weights when y'all get through lifting. Make him eat last. Make him eat by himself. Don't let him go to sleep at night. Whatever tactics y'all got in there, use all of them. Don't cut him not a drop of slack. Dress him up, put him on makeup, dress him up. Dress him up real nice. Dress him up real nice. Make him dance for y'all on party night. Dress him up.
I guess he's saying that's what they went through.
Make sure the shower water cold. Dress him up real nice. If I don't know how it go in there, and I never
Hold on now.
even gonna come close.
Hold that thought, right? Hold that thought for me. Now I'm gonna let this play, because I see a lot of people, right? A lot of people says that I hear you, but Derry, but hold on. He is requesting that they do that to. No, he's not. That's what he made them do, right? If y'all been watching, right? Remember, he made them do all these things, and this is just what he's saying. The things that he made them do. However, how would he feel if now they making him do it? Y'all been watching. Didn't he make them do these things? Right? Right. I think that's what he's going to try to do. I think that's what next plan is, right? He ain't spending all his life in there. So either he's gonna try to do something to himself, or he's gonna start a lot of ish that makes somebody want to do it to him, right? All they want, I think that's his next goal, right? So he can be remembered just the way he is if that's what he's planning. Well, there is no sin that is forgivable. There is not one sin that is forgivable, right? But your job is to sin no more. Sin no more, right? Yeah. But then we also know, like, around regular people, his personality changes, right? Around regular people, his personality changes. So we don't know. He up in there. It ain't like he can't have XEX no more. They do that in there, right? They do that in there. He gonna start. Don't forget, Booski. Right after, I'm gonna play a little bit of the interview. I did not hear the beginning of it, but I'm gonna play a little bit of it. That was from Lisa Say what he did yesterday. But I'm when I do the Musa and the 9631 Booski, I'm gonna give you some time now. I know it's early over there. I know it's early, but I definitely want to talk about that. I definitely want to talk about that. All right. And then I might pull up my old video, right, and let my old video when that took place, I might let that speak for itself, right? I probably don't have to say nothing, but I could have changed my mind on some things. So if I change my mind on some things, I have the right to do that. So I will interject if I do it that way, or I might just look at it from what I know, but talk from a new set of eyes. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I'm gonna do the panel then. But this almost done. Matter of fact, this is technically done, and I want to do a little bit of his interview. I seen the end, but I didn't see the beginning, right? And again, I guess they're gonna keep talking out. They're gonna keep talking out until I guess they are free. I can't get over their testimonies. Them testimonies are going down in history, right? Them testimonies is going down in history. Stop playing. Stop playing. Stop playing. They're going down in history. And then Serenity and Rambo did one on Worlds. I would like to stop. That won't be today. The Musa will be today. But the Serenity one, I'm not thinking about no Khadijah. I'm sorry. I don't even like her face, right? I don't even like her face. No, I don't. Uh-oh. My girl live. She is live. Let's see what she gonna do. Let's see. She live now. She is live. Let's see what they got to say, baby. Let's see. Let's see what he got to say. Let's see what the lawyer has to say. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm not going to play the whole thing.
What is
They
mine? You
don't
got to find one
necessarily
for me.
they don't necessarily want them, but I do like I like your Lisa says what. I think that's great.
Thank you, thank you. You know, I was giving the jurors nicknames. There was eyelashes, fidget widget, Karen. I'm sorry that's a
Dramas on TV, but most of the time it's just it's boring foundational type testimony. And I'm just curious, what was your thought sitting through an entire jury trial?
there were a few very few moments when I was like, okay, this is boring. I want to get out of here. It was riveting from beginning to end. I mean, I did not expect. Uh, well, I guess I did kind of expect 30
Okay.
and 40. I think the oldest person was the man. There was one juror into the court, and the jurors requested that they sat down, hands over his face, and he's just, I don't.
So the garments of innocence. That's why you're entitled to wear street clothes or professional clothing, and you don't have to wear the law on that. And it's a big issue. And it doesn't show up in transcripts unless the defense attorney puts it into the record. But when you have an in custody person, the obviously a potential escape route is through the open court, right? Because there's
Right.
just the door to the outside, and then you're outside, and you're gone. And so the guards know that. Everyone knows that. So they take precautions. But one of the problems is that the Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court, has held that you're entitled to what's known as the garbs of innocence. So the garments of innocence. So that's why you're entitled to wear street clothes or professional clothing, and you don't have to wear a jail jumpsuit. And that extends to restraints.
Mhm.
So if you are behaving yourself and you're doing everything that the guards are asking you to, you should be allowed to sit there without leg irons on and without handcuffs. It's only
Right.
when you act out, and that can be grounds for reversal of a conviction if the jury could see it and defense counsel made an issue of it, objecting to it. I've had that where I've objected to the way that my client has been presented at counsel table. And most courts are really conscientious about making sure that the defendant, if they're in custody, is brought into court so that the jury never sees him being moved in or out of court and being in custody. And so they pay very careful attention to that. The problem you run into is if you have a defendant that's just being defiant, and then, like the judge said, I mean, like you do things to make this so that we have a hard time doing a trial. You can give up your right to appear at trial by your behavior, and then we'll just try you. We'll put you in a holding cell. We'll put in audio and visual so you can see it and hear it. But we're just going to do it without you. And I had a client one time do that. He threatened to kill everybody, threatened to kill me.
Oh my.
He'd already tried to kill U.S. Marshals. So it's not, and we took him serious. And, and so at that point, and so that presented its own special problems.
I would imagine so. Okay,
was-
so the leg irons was the first. The leg irons were his first delay.
Okay.
After well, if he was worried about being presented well in court, why did he wear a electric blue paisley jacket that shocked everyone's senses? Uh, he looked like he was at the prom in 1984. I guess he thought he was impressing the jury, but he didn't.
That is so that is a pretty good sign of somebody that it's all about them, and that this is
Yes.
their last chance to be in the public spotlight. And so we're going to make sure it goes that I'm the absolute center of attention, and I'm going to dress accordingly.
Well, that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, I mean, didn't you tell me he had an outburst also?
Oh, wait, I haven't got to the best part. The judge was diagnosed with COVID. Now,
Okay.
this is where your spidey senses are going to start tingling. And Eligio said that he did not want to be in the courtroom with the judge um, because of her diagnosis, because of her testing positive. So it was a big hubbub, and the judge gave him the choice that he could be in a separate courtroom with a mask, or doused in Purell, and sit there and continue on with the case, or he could go into a separate courtroom and watch from an iPad. But he could not interject. He could not interact with his attorney. She gave him all of the reasons why this was probably a bad idea. And he said, "Well, my attorney is trying to convince me to be here in the court, so I'd like to fire my attorney." So he fires Robert Booker right there on the spot in front of the world, and
And how'd that work out?
the judge told him, "You okay? Fine. If you want to fire your attorney, you can proceed pro se, and you can defend yourself, or you can continue on with Mr. Booker, but the trial's going on." So he elected to be in go back to the jail. She also told him that you won't be able to wear your fancy outfits in front of the jury. You're going to be in your prison garb. And he elected not to remain in the courtroom. So he wasn't in the courtroom for much of the testimony. They sent him back to jail.
So he's trying to build himself what we call an appellate parachute. Um,
An appellate parachute.
yeah, it's what's known as we call in the business we call it an appellate parachute. It's when you're going down in flames at trial. You try to create an appellate parachute so that you can get a free do-over of your trial, and hopefully things go differently. And so the courts are aware when people are doing that, and they don't like it, and so they find ways to take away your appellate parachute. So if you're complaining that the judge has COVID and you want a different delay,
Judge.
or different judge. I mean,
We had a 1 day delay. And so we didn't, I think that was on a Wednesday. We had Wednesday off. And when we returned, he refused to continue on, but he was driving his attorney mad. This guy, he kept uh not, raising his hand. He wanted to, talk. He just did not purport himself like a person who had their life on the line.
so was he doing that in front of the? He's not doing himself anything. They definitely didn't like that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
And so his lawyer is there fighting so the lawyer's fighting the judge, the lawyer's fighting the prosecutor, now the lawyer's fighting his client.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Have you ever been fired on national television?
No, not on television, but I've been. It doesn't. And the funny thing is that you can try to. So you're not actually fired. That's the funny thing that defendants don't understand, is that it's not like an auto mechanic or somebody that you can't just fire a lawyer. It's not how it works. And so the judge would give them an opportunity to, okay, well, you can defend yourself. But we're not going to delay this so you can get a different lawyer. I mean, this
that's what he wanted.
Yeah. Well,
and
no,
the judge was adamant.
Yeah, and the lawyer is doing what the lawyer can do given the facts that he has, and the client probably wants him to go with a defense that's not viable, and the lawyer can't because you're bound by rules of ethics. I usually have it with sovereign citizens or sovereign when they're sovereign adjacent.
Right.
And it's like they're not gonna. I had one guy fired me in front of a jury, and then he complained to the jury that he didn't have a lawyer.
Were you off did you get off the case?
No, the judge made me sit there and sit through the whole trial.
Oh, wow.
As standby counsel, so that in case he changes his mind, I'm there to step in. And it was kind of funny. The guy was a tax Um, one of these tax people that doesn't think he has to pay taxes.
Oh
And
yes.
I get that, like, nobody wants to pay taxes. And he fired me just before the jury pick. So the jury saw it happen. And
Oh my.
yeah, and then there was like one, and his problem was he was also racist. And so it was really kind of funny because he had one juror that was like agreed with him, like you shouldn't have to pay the taxes. And she was a black
Mm.
lady, so he kicked her. And I'm like, dude, she was literally your best friend. And she was gonna be the one person that would be like, yeah, you shouldn't have to pay taxes, and you got rid of her. And then he complained about not having a lawyer, and I'm sitting right there. And the judge is like, well, no,
Uh,
he's right there. You can consult him anytime you want. And so yeah,
and he
it's just
ignored
it
you.
never worked out. I had a client fire me, hire another lawyer, and then fired that lawyer just to had a closing arguments. And then he made his own closing arguments about how, yeah, he might be a drug dealer and he was on trial for dealing drugs, but he didn't deal drugs this time. And
Oh, that's funny.
yeah,
I
and
do sell
he's
drugs,
done
but
it
not on
both ways.
that day.
Yeah, but not this time.
That's funny.
Oh yeah, no, and I'm Mr. Booker. I mean, he seems like a pretty seasoned trial attorney, um, and it sounds to me like he just had his hands full.
Oh yeah, he did. He did. So after uh I believe you asked me another point that I think that the jury, I mean, there was some gut wrenching testimony.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, and it's
um,
it's tough sitting through those because I've done plenty of sex crime trials, and there's inevitably a time where you're just like it just feels like a giant gut punch.
yes, and what the chat is telling me, and I forgot this, is the reason they wanted to watch second time dates, date and the day posted it, because they argued that the videos were posted before she left, and that she had knowledge that they were posted, and I guess they wanted to see the timestamp on the videos to prove that they were posted after she left. The victim was the first up. What do you think about that? They put her on first to tell her story. The defense attorney did not come after her as hard as we thought she would. I thought that he was going to go hard on her about the queen situation, that she wanted to be queen of carbonation, and she was bitter and revengeful, and that's the why she made these allegations. But he didn't go hard on her, and then later on, I kind of realized why. I believe he was torn. He was torn. Rick Allen Ross. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He is the the de facto uh, leader of the cult deprogrammer. And when he testified, uh, Robert Booker really tried to discredit him. Now, Mr. Ross, in his youth, he had some run-ins with the law, and he brought that to the attention. Booker tried to discredit him with that because he had embezzled some jewelry when he was a kid, or 20 years old, and so he tried to discredit him with that. Would you have taken that approach too? Would you have taken that opportunity to discredit the cult expert?
Well, so here's the thing. There's a couple thoughts are going through my head when you're telling me about Mr. Booker and the victim. They typically the victim does go first, and that's simply because that's the foundation of the case. Everything else kind of centers around that.
Hmm.
Um, it's difficult to really go hard at a female victim of a sex crime because like I think I've mentioned to you this before, like if you're a male and you're trying to do that, you come across as like you're re-victimizing them.
Hmm.
You need the jury to have credibility. You need to have credibility with the jury because later on, like when you're doing the expert, you need the jury to appreciate that you're a professional and you're doing a job. And if you are overzealous in examination of the alleged victim, then you can destroy that credibility right out of the gate. And so I will oftentimes do what we call a sympathetic cross-examination, particularly of a sympathetic victim. Okay. And so, and all you do is you just kind of point out the inconsistencies. Okay. And you point out different things. You don't really attack them. You just like put the evidence in front of them and say, well, here's what this is. And you didn't say this, did you? And you didn't do this, did you? And you don't like come at them. I will oftentimes soften my approach and stay back at counsel tables, so I'm not impeding in their space. And so and so that's a pretty standard way to approach it. Then when it comes to an expert, man, if first of all, you got to get the expert to acknowledge that they're getting paid.
He did.
And
He
once you
went
get
down.
paid, and then you find out that they've got something in their background where they've embezzled money, and then that they're willing to do something to get money that's illegal. And you want to, so that's a very valid way to tear down an expert's credibility. And so, it doesn't mean it's gonna save the day for you, particularly in light of you've got a defendant who would appear to have admitted his culpability to the police in a police interrogation. And it might explain and it might mitigate a lot of things, but at the end of the day, the worst thing that people do is they say dumb stuff during police interviews, and then you end up and I can't tell you how many times I've had juries want to see the interrogation again. And you know that you're cooked when they ask to see that, because it's like, I remember, I mean, you always live I can't remember a case where I didn't watch and listen to my person's interrogation 100 times, just getting every syllable, every word, every inflection, because everything is going to be under a magnifying glass, and trying to figure out, is this going to be the thing that stumps us or not? And if their juries comes back with a question like, hey, we want to see the interrogation again, it's like, ooh, get prepared. That's gonna probably be it.
Yep.
I really believe that, coupled with the testimony by the witnesses, as you know, no one witnessed the actual encounter, the actual rape. There were people, the prior bad acts testimony.
Yeah, but that was impactful.
It was very impactful, and it didn't hurt that Aaron Dixon was really kind of made it broader. He was a former cult member. He was so articulate and able to explain the inner workings of the cult, down to how they ate and how they slept, and the sleep. He testified to the sleep deprivation and the withholding of food, and that Mr. Bishop controlled who had sex with who had relationships, who could or could not. And I think that really helped the jury to understand how how the cult worked. And
it's important, because that's how you get past some of the problems with your victims.
Yes. Rick Allen Ross, he was able to also explain how, and Amanda Blanchard, who was the domestic violence specialist, they were able to explain how someone could leave and come back, why they leave and come back, that why she would go back to say goodbye to him, because she was still, even though she had come to her senses and was like, hey, I got to get out of here. This is not I can't stay in this environment anymore. She was able to explain to the jury that, you have a fight, flight, or freeze, and during the act of the sexual assault, she kind of froze and couldn't, kind of lost herself in the moment.
Hey, Paula.
Blanked out.
Thought
just to get
child.
through it.
Lisa.
So I thought the prosecutors bringing them up was invaluable,
Right.
invaluable. And
What were your thoughts on the prosecuting attorney and how they conducted themselves?
there were two. First chair was Coveney, and he he speaks slow and methodical. He really brought the law. He brought he wasn't dogmatic. He wasn't he wasn't Al Pacino in Justice for All, you know. So he was kind of slow and methodical, but he had a second chair, which was a woman, and she was tough. I think she did a great job. She was able to, she cross-examined his witnesses for her and really was able to prove them as liars. I think they did a good job. I was worried. I was very worried. There was a lot of information I think that they didn't present. But I guess they didn't want to overwhelm the jury with carbonation and information. I thought they brought up some points that were just were insignificant, and they didn't really round it up. They kept mentioning the sleeping arrangements and the fact that they couldn't use the bathroom. I think those things were kind of salacious, and maybe I don't know what their point was, but those were the only two strikes I would give them. But they were very good. I was not as impressed with Mr. Booker. Uh,
Well, didn't he just come off a trial the week before?
he did. He
So I mean,
did.
that's a lot to do two trials like in a row. That's a lot. I don't know how. Like I think we had talked, maybe just you and I privately, about how, like, as a lawyer you shouldn't get yourself into that situation.
Mm-hmm.
You should be planning this stuff out months in advance. I mean, months in advance. I'm scheduling trials in the fall right now, just because I don't ever want to get them stacked up more than you need at least 2 weeks off. You need a week to recover and a week to prepare.
Book on vacation.
Exhausted.
Book on vacation.
And when you're doing a major case like this, it takes everything out of
you. No, Nature Boy take everything out of you.
I don't know why he did that. I have no idea.
For the love of the money.
And you're not at your best when you're doing that. I mean, you're just not. And yeah, but so for the love of the money, but still, you go and you tell the judge in one of your two cases and say, look, one of these needs to be moved, and let them decide. I mean, you don't have to make that. I've had that plenty of times where I've had
Booker wanted this done and over.
And I just brought it to the attention
He
of
wanted this
different
done.
judges and said, you
He
guys
said it's a
figure it
week.
out. I can't
Just 1 week.
I can't
Okay.
do both. You tell me which one you want me to do, and that's the one I'll do. And let the court decide. If you have to put it on the record, you put it in the record.
He tried that the first time.
Because it's an appealable issue. And you'd hate to have
What
that.
is an appeal? Go back and say that again. Which is an appealable issue?
If your attorney is ineffective because he doesn't have time to prepare for trial, and because he just did another trial like the week before, I mean, that's an appealable issue. And if the attorney wasn't at their best and the attorney was ineffective and missed something because
That's not our problem.
doing another case, that's an appealable issue.
Wow, they tricked us.
I think
So
Mr.
one of
Booker
your people
was.
asked, is an appeal likely? It's guaranteed. I guarantee he's going to appeal. He went to trial, was convicted, and he has an absolute right to appeal. And if he can't afford a lawyer on appeal, they will give him one. I mean, he's entitled.
Oh, so he can get a public defender?
Yes.
Y'all heard?
And usually they're specialists. And so, and Georgia's a big enough state where I can't imagine they don't have appellate attorneys that specialize just doing court-appointed appellate work. In Michigan, we've got an entire division.
Wow, Nature Boy got a chance, guys.
We've got the state attorney, a state appellate defender's office. It's a separate law firm that's funded by the state that they handle the vast majority of Michigan's appeals. So,
Wow.
and they're specialists in it. That's all they do every day. And so he's, because he was convicted at jury trial, he has an absolute right to appeal.
We know that part.
If he can't afford an attorney to handle his appeal, then the court will grant him one, and he'll get somebody that's probably a specialist in criminal appellate work.
Do you
And
think that
so-
the COVID excuse is an appealable issue?
Maybe depending on the state you're in. Some states took COVID a little bit different than other states.
Right.
My strong suspicion is that in Georgia, they could give a shit about whether or not somebody had COVID. There's just some places that they don't care. And my strong suspicion is that Georgia is one of those places where they're like, the fact that the judge is there with COVID tells me that everything I need to know about how they think about COVID. And
Right.
I don't want to get into my own personal thoughts on it, but I can tell you this, that everybody has their own thought on it. And some people think it's no big deal, and some people think it's the end of the world, and you're never going to get those two to reconcile. And
Right.
so my strong suspicion is that the judge in Georgia is reflecting the general judicial philosophy of the state of Georgia.
Yes, I mean the judge was really clear. Look, we've been into this for 4 years. We are socially distanced. Put on the mask.
So Michigan is weird. We don't. So every court is kind of up to their own on this, and like where I practice, I mean, there's nobody gives a shit about COVID around here. I mean, if you said that you had COVID, maybe they would want you there for a day or two, just like you would if you had influenza.
Right.
And the courts don't shut down. Jurors are told that they can wear a mask. They don't have to wear a mask. You can mask away, bro. Don't mask. Nobody says anything.
No, but that's common knowledge. He is entitled. That don't mean he's gonna get it.
Doing it via Zoom. They got glass partitions between everybody. It's 4 years on, and they're still treating it like it's like gonna kill everybody. And it's like, but my strong suspicion is that with this judge that is not going to be an appellate issue.
No, because she gave him every opportunity. She allowed him, and so another.
He's a lawyer, Captain.
Another thing was the
he is giving a lawyer's real lawyer's feedback.
They were, of course, allowed in. Do you believe that may have been prejudicial, and that might be?
Well, it's always prejudicial,
right?
I mean, they don't bring prior bad acts that are not prejudicial, because that's the whole point of the prior bad act is prejudicial. The question, and I think we've talked about this before, the question is whether or not it's goes to one of the exceptions to prior bad acts, and that is to show a comp plan, scheme, motive, design, like this is how you do it, like think like a serial rapist. They kind of do the same thing every time they do it, right? It's part of their ritual. Okay. So it's to show like, hey, we didn't make a mistake. There's not, like Bill Cosby, right? Like the great example of this, because like he's such a person that you want to believe doesn't do something like that, and that it requires, like, if one person said that Bill Cosby did this to me, and that he used this, drug, put it in my drink, he'd bring me over to his house to mentor me. It's like, wow, it's hard to buy that. It's going to be tough to buy that. But then all of a sudden you got 100 women saying the same thing. And it's just like, oh, that's just his modus operandi. That's just how he operates. And so that's where the 404B can come in. Now, I'm telling you, that's another thing that's appealed a lot. And because if the court gets that wrong and allows 404B in, that's the kind of thing that can get a reversal in a new trial. But you got to remember, so just remember this, that just because somebody gets a reversal in a new trial doesn't mean they get out. They just go back to the same status they were pre-trial. Not like he's going to be just like, oh, I won on appeal, my conviction got thrown out, I can go home. it's not what happens. What happens is you then go back to the pretrial phase. You may be sitting in prison waiting for it to happen. They might not bring you back to the jail. They might just keep you in prison and just bring you over, because I've had that too. And oftentimes clients prefer to stay in prison because it's more freedom of movement and you have more amenities. And they would rather stay there than in pretrial detention at a county jail. Some of these county jails can be pretty atrocious, especially compared to prisons. So, but anyways, he would. It's not like he would just be free to go home. They would just try the case again, and they would try it with or without whatever evidence that the Court of Appeals said that they could or couldn't use.
Oh, okay. It's back. We're back in business.
That the lawsuit.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I never lost you.
Okay. Something happened. We've got bad weather here. It's kind of, maybe that's what affected the website, the internet. I'm sorry. Now, where were we?
Well, I was talking about the effect of a reversal on appeal.
Right.
Like it doesn't change it, because we were talking about 404B, and then because that is something that can result in a reversal. But even if it is reversed, it doesn't mean that he just goes free. He just gets retried without that piece of evidence, and that would be excluded. That's all that would mean. It doesn't really change a whole lot.
If he is granted a new trial, and if you were to appeal it and got a new trial, would those witnesses be allowed to come back in, the prior bad acts?
Well, it depends what the Court of Appeals has to say about them. If the Court of Appeals says, look, it was okay to admit some of their testimony, but not other parts of their testimony, then you could bring them back to testify to the part that was allowed, and not testify to what was disallowed. But if the court says, hey, it was a mistake to have them at all, then you do it without them.
Ooh, that would be rough. They were really.
I can tell you that if the court was smart, and usually they are, there's special instructions when it comes to 404B. And what they oftentimes will do is the court, the trial judge, will instruct the jury and say, you've heard prior bad acts testimony, and you're not to use that testimony as prima facie evidence to prove his guilt. You can only use that evidence. And so if the judge gave that instruction, even if the court was wrong in allowing that testimony in, the Court of Appeals will oftentimes say, well, that instruction cured whatever was wrong with it, and so therefore we'll allow the conviction to stand.
Yes, she did. She gave instruction to the jury.
Yeah, so what's known as a limiting instruction.
Limiting is instruction?
A limiting instruction, meaning you can only consider that evidence for its limited purpose.
I see. Well, it was powerful. One woman, Kendra Carter, described how he sexually assaulted her by she was a virgin, and
Stop
he took pride in taking her virginity from her. Another woman, Brianna Jacobs, said he sodomized her, and I think that didn't have video of their encounter. Velvet Marquez to stand, and what I didn't understand, and she did say that
she did.
He did revenge. He beat her, and that he committed revenge porn against her in the same way that he did the victim. Now, why do you suppose it was necessary to show her revenge porn to the jury?
I'm surprised they showed it at all.
That's what I was saying.
So, like, they actually played the video in the court.
She testified that he
Good boy.
forced.
I know, but
was
the actual pornographic video played in court?
Her. Yes, they showed her giving him
fellatio.
Okay, so I'm surprised by that. And I'll tell you why I'm surprised, is that typically when it comes to things like that, evidence of that type, that what it typically is it's put onto some type of device, like either a thumb drive or a CD-ROM or whatever, okay?
Mhm.
And it is admitted as evidence, but not shown to the jury. And the jury is told, if you want to see it, it's on this piece of evidence, it's on this, and it will admit it as evidence in case you want to see it. But the prosecution won't play it in court. They'll just have the person testifying that, yes, this is a video and it shows certain things, but then not actually show it in open court.
No,
Because
they
now
showed it live in 4K.
I'm surprised by this because, quite frankly, if I was defense counsel, I would object to it. And I would say, I would have a very good objection. And the objection would be, you're first of all, you are
Booker was tired of
re-victimizing
his
this person.
shit, okay?
The prosecution is re-victimizing the person because it's revenge porn.
It
And
is.
you're showing it. Okay, the whole point of revenge porn is for people to view it, and you're doing it more. Now, I would have a second reason for making that objection, and the objection is, I would hope the jury never looks at it. I would hope that they just leave it on the table and never play it in the jury room. But I would make them watch it in the courtroom. And I think you would have real good grounds as defense counsel to protect the witness. Because if you're saying, and here's the counter argument. The counter argument is, it can't be revenge porn because the prosecution played it.
No,
right?
he did not.
So they're perpetrating the crime also. They're perpetrating the crime.
No, this time they have her permission. No, they got her permission this time.
Right?
That would have been a great argument.
No.
So that to me is just surprising that was just played. And
they have her permission this time.
Nobody said boo about it, and just.
I can't recall. I believe he objected to it, but he was overruled. They didn't ask to see that when they returned. They asked to see the victims. They didn't ask to see the wives, and I thought that was kind of gratuitous, but I guess it made its point because, like I said, it was in 4K. It was a minute long, and it was hard to watch. But I guess they played it to show his
dominance,
his propensity to post these things after people leave.
Well,
but yeah.
But let's just assume, for the sake of argument, again, I'm just blown away that nobody made the argument that if the prosecution plays it in open court, it can't be revenge porn, because then the prosecution is engaging in revenge porn.
No. No.
Yeah.
No.
It re-victimized her.
What? And you just allowed to?
No. His wife is not on trial. Velvet gave permission. Velvet bought it, right? I think that's the part that you're forgetting. Velvet bought it there, and at this point in time, now she's giving her own permission. When it was released, it was not with her permission, if I'm not mistaken.
Victimize this person. I mean, she's either a victim or she's not, and if she's not a victim, okay, play the porn in court. But if she's a victim, then you're victimizing her again. So which is it?
Objection.
And if the prosecution is the one doing this, it's not like
objection.
He's doing it. Alicia.
Right. Where is 60 days in?
So, I mean, I've heard
where is
stories
60 days and when he got locked
will
up?
try to embarrass an alleged victim to try to keep them off the stand or to try to throw them off their game. They might try to do something like that, but I've never heard of a prosecutor doing this.
Yes.
And
see,
what's surprising to me that they did.
What's going to happen is, even if he gets a new trial, then it's going to be her word against his word, right? So we could go through the trial, even if he gets an appeal, it's going to be her word against his word against his word, because he is the one who described the crime scene, right? It doesn't take away no means no. I mean, you can't get away from that, right? So if you take away all of that, like I even said in the beginning, and I did not even know that this was coming on. That wasn't about her in particular. That was about them, right? And then it goes to what type of person he is. But the main thing it gets down to, no, it was a bad joke. I'm watching 60 Days. Oh no, no, no! I wasn't talking. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking about. Actually, I'm thinking I'm talking to this guy right here, but he really can't hear me, right? But I'm really talking to him. I don't think his appeal will go through because of his guilt. Right. That's what I'm saying. No, but not you, darling. Not you, Mashi. Not you. In my mind, I'm talking to him. Because you're saying she's being re-victimized and it's not revenge. No, it's a difference. Velvet bought the video. They didn't ask for it. She bought it. She knew that, and she gave permission. It's a big difference, right? But when it was released, it was without her permission. But she did that to show, like Lisa said, how vulgar this man is. So I think that's what the purpose of her saying, yeah, look at this, right? And she's not on court for revenge porn. She's not she's not taking him to jail for revenge porn. Nay is not Val. So Val can do that. She's not. I'm confused, but I'm just saying. Let's go.
And it's quite surprising to me that the judge allowed it to happen over a defense objection, because there's other ways to handle that piece of evidence, and
Mm-hmm.
showing it in open court.
She reclaimed her power.
How is that any different than publishing it online?
Raina says that they had to show it to show his capability of posting revenge. I get that they could have just mentioned it, but having it
They
shown.
just mentioned it. They could have had it, and they all you got to do is put it on a thumb drive. Just put it on a
Right.
thumb drive, and every jury room in the country has at least the capability to have a laptop. And if they need to see it as jurors, then they can play it in the jury room with themselves, and you don't have to publish it to everybody in the world.
Right. Right. But yeah, they let it through. They let it through. So, of course, he wasn't in the courtroom for the verdict. They came back shortly after they wanted to see the revenge porn and the testimony he gave, the interrogation video. It wasn't an hour and a half tops that they came back with their verdict. And you could have knocked me over with a feather when it was so fast. That's the thing. She got the note from the jury. She read it, and it was immediate. I thought she was going to take some time, and no, immediately. What's your verdict? Guilty, 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 guilty. And my heart was just racing. And then immediately, all right, we're moving into sentencing. And
Yeah, that's something that I don't. Michigan does it a little bit different, and that's
Mhm.
when it comes to capital offenses, when it's life without the possibility of parole. Like I never understood like the whole why we got to come back to do a sentencing,
right,
because Michigan takes time. It's like, all right, well, you're convicted. We're gonna be back in like 10 weeks to figure out what your sentence is going to be when we already know what it's going to be. So, but yeah, it does happen. I mean, the verdict happens very quickly when they announce that they have one. It's like they stop, the court stops everything. Um, and I've been at court plenty of times where I've been having another type of hearing in front of a judge, and then all of a sudden that judge has a jury that comes back with a verdict. Everything stops. Everything gets
mm,
cleared out of the way. The jury comes in. They read the verdict. poll the jury, and then it's all done.
Now, what is the purpose of polling the jury? That didn't happen in this case.
So I always ask for it. I don't know. I think I just want to see people's reactions. I kind of gauge like who was where in their thought process, and just kind of gauge their reaction. But the reason that we do it is important, because every now and then you end up with what we call an inconsistent jury, where maybe the jury didn't understand that they had to be unanimous. Or that they thought they voted guilty on one thing, but they voted guilty on something else. And because it's usually done by a raising of the hands,
Right.
maybe there was confusion and the foreperson didn't get it right. And there have been times, I've never had it, so I know that they're rare, but they do happen. And that a jury will be asked and they'll say, no, I didn't vote guilty on that.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then it's like, well, we're not done deliberating. And so and so it's just one of those belt and suspenders things, and I want to see them say it, like, I put my heart and soul into trial, and I just want to hear it come out of their mouth.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know how you would have handled this, but Licio insisted that Booker when he put on his case in chief, that he re-interviewed the victim. What is that called when you bring a witness back? When it was the prosecutor's witness, the victim, obviously, and they brought her back.
And what questions did he ask her
about her comments that they made love when she did the interview?
Why did he miss something in his cross-examination?
I don't know. He mentioned it.
Look, it's so depending on the rules. There's ask me a loaded question there, Lisa. It depends on what the rules of evidence are that you're dealing with, and there's the rules that are in the book for the rules of evidence, and then there's the local rules of evidence, and there's just the rules of evidence that are not written down anywhere, but that everyone kind of just goes with. And I remember early in my career, I had a trial in a small county in northern Michigan, and the prosecution asked questions of this person, and I did my cross-examination. And the rules are that your cross-examination has to stay within what their scope of direct examination was, and so you don't get into stuff that's additional to that.
I see.
And so then they're allowed to do what's known as redirect, and that's supposed to be inside your scope of cross-examination. And the prosecutor on redirect went way outside even the scope of his original direct examination, and I objected, and the judge said, "Well, we don't really follow that rule here."
Oh,
well, at least I learned on the first witness. So I just like, whatever, YOLO, right? It's like, just living it up now. And so sometimes you miss things, and then you might call them back because you missed something and you want to just ask them again, or so I don't know. It depends. I would want to. It'd be interesting to know what the questions were.
He asked her. He read a transcript from her interview she did just after the rape. I believe it was a week later, and she went on a show called The Tea, and she was giving her account of the night, and she said in that moment, after saying no countless times, in that moment they made love, and I believe that's what Booker was hanging his hat on.
Well, that's just another way to say had sex, right?
Right.
Polite way to say it, and I get where he's going with it. But didn't he cross-examine her on that initially?
He did. I think he was also trying to get the audio of the interview submitted. It was a 6-hour interview.
Okay.
And they didn't allow it. They said that he could read from the transcript, a transcript from the interview, but beyond that, he couldn't play it. So his hands were tied. He got a second bite at the apple, and I don't think it. Well, obviously, it didn't make a bit of difference.
Right.
And because we.
So there was
However,
a good question in your chat about what's life without parole mean.
okay,
And let me talk about that because there's and the language doesn't change from state to state, but sometimes the concepts do. And so what I want to say is that when it's life without parole, what that means is that under no circumstance do you get paroled until you're dead and you die in prison. And so life without parole means exactly what it says. It means that you serve the rest of your natural life without the possibility of parole. What gets confused is when someone says he was sentenced to life. Okay. If you don't have the words without parole, then life doesn't mean life.
okay,
And then it changes based on what state you're in.
I see.
So life mean natural life, or it could mean a period of years, and the parole board decides when you get out, and they might choose to never let you out until you're dead. And so it could be a lot of different things, but if it's life without parole, it means exactly that. It means you will spend the rest of your natural life in prison. And so for a judge to sentence him immediately to life without parole tells me that Georgia is life without parole. It means exactly what it says. There's no point in going to a sentencing hearing because we already know the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I know that Georgia has actual capital offenses.
Yes.
That you could be executed. And so life without parole for some states like Michigan that doesn't have the death penalty, then that is what our capital case is. It's life without parole, meaning that's the worst penalty the state can mete out. So just there's just three concepts to keep track of, and it's common in our in the legal community for judges to sentence somebody to life, and it doesn't mean life. It means that it could be life, but it's also parolable. Where life without parole is exactly that, life without the possibility of parole. And then capital cases, depending on where you're at, could be life without parole, or it could be possibly the death penalty. And it just depends on where you're at when it comes to that. But the only one for certain is life without parole is across the board means exactly that, life without parole.
Panther wants to know why give him 10 years for the revenge porn. What's the point of that?
Because why not? To be a harsh judge. Because why not? Doesn't matter one way or the other. It might be by statute. So get this. So for some crimes, if you're convicted of multiple crimes, some crimes require a what's known as a consecutive sentence. And so it could be that Georgia law requires that to be consecutive to something, and the judge just is following the letter of the law that it's consecutive, even though it doesn't really matter. We've got a couple of weird ones in Michigan like that. Like if you commit first degree murder, either felony murder or first degree premeditated, and you use a gun, you're going to get life without parole, but they're also going to get you two extra years for felony firearm, and so you end up doing life without parole plus 2 years.
Right.
And so it's just sometimes it's just a quirk in the law that requires the judge to sentence that way.
Now he's also facing, and I want to go back and talk about Booker's defense, but he's also facing charges on the drone. Do you think this case will be affected by that?
Yeah, it's probably going to go away.
For everybody or just him?
Just him.
Wow.
They'll convict a few people, and they might even bring him in and say, look, if you plead to something, we'll just make it concurrent with what you're already doing.
So it's in his best. You would advise your client to just go ahead and plead out on that?
Yeah, what's the point in fighting it? You're serving life without parole. By the time you get reversed on let's just assume for the sake of argument that you do get a reversed on appeal. by the time you are reversed on appeal, you'll have served your entire sentence for the stupid drone case.
Right.
So who cares? It'll just be done.
Another thing is that, as you know, he was offered a 7-year deal, which he
Yeah.
did not take. 7 years,
Years he's gonna be like,
dropped
yeah,
the rape,
deal.
and he didn't take it. So
Right.
he waited until the day one of the hearing of the proceedings, and they offered him 30 years, uh, register as a sex offender. He can't profit from the case, and he had to leave Georgia and never come back. There was only one county he could come to in Georgia, and that is where the airport was located. And of course, he turned that down. How would you have advised him? I'm
I know exactly how I would have advised him. I would advise him the way I do all my clients that are facing this question. And I do it by telling a joke. And this is just a joke. So don't YouTube overlord gods. It's just a joke, man. So I tell them about a fictional conversation I have at a bar. So just imagine you're my client and I'm sitting there with you, and I'm like, well, Lisa, I go, it reminds me of a conversation I had with this old man in a bar. And I come in after a hard day at work, and he's in there. I'd never seen him there before, but he's sobbing uncontrollably. And I'm just like, hey, old timer, what's going on? He seemed pretty upset. He goes, 25 years ago today, he goes, I came so close to killing my wife, and I didn't. And I'm like, well, why are you crying? He goes, because today would have been the day I would have been getting out of prison.
Whoa.
I love that joke. So anyways, at some point in time, that day is going to come and go.
Right.
And you're going to remember this conversation. And I don't want you to forget this conversation. And that's why I'm using this joke.
Mm-hmm.
Because
you can live through it.
You are going to live through this. And let me explain it to you this way. That time is going to come and go one way or the other. And if you're alive, you are going to be kicking yourself in the ass on that day. And you're going to think back and say, you know what, old man Rodenhouse, he had a point.
Right.
And so I want you to consider that. Now and I don't take this lightly, but it typically happens the younger the person is, less they understand the concept of time.
Right.
Young men in particular are horrible calculators of time. First of all, they think they're invincible. That's why we get them to fight wars, because you can't get old men to fight wars, because we know they don't want to die.
Right.
And we know you can. Young men don't think that they can. They think they're 10 feet tall and bulletproof. It's just the way our species is built. And they don't have a good concept of time. An 18-year-old thinks 18 years is forever.
Yes.
Any plea offer that's like 18 years, fuck, I'll be old. I'm going to be 54. And I'm like, 54 is young.
Yes. Yes.
I'm like, you're going to love it. You're going to miss out on all the 40s, 30s, and they don't think about it that way. They don't understand the concept of time. And so the younger they are, the less they get it. And so you have to do something as their attorney to try to bring it back to reality for them. Like, look, it's not that long. Okay, life isn't going to be over when you get out. You're like, and not hopefully, but if they have kids, I can explain it to them this way. Like, look, if you will be out before your daughter graduates from college, right?
Oh, definitely. And then especially if you're taking the 7.
Yeah, and that way you can put it into perspective a little bit. Like, okay, so it's not. I mean, do you really want your daughter to have a child, and so it's your grandchild, and you're still going to be sitting in the pen? I mean, so you got to do something to bring it down. And I'm sure that his attorneys did. Some people you just can't reach. It's like just like that song, or that movie, Cool Hand Luke. There's some men you just can't reach.
Yes.
And so you end up what we got here today.
Okay, so let me
was offered 7 years. He didn't take it. They like made a last ditch attempt. Like, look, we're geared up for trial. And Well, a lot of times they think it's going to get better than 7 years, so they hold out. But if a prosecutor's office gets a reputation for that, then everyone gains it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand why the prosecutor's office wouldn't go back to on the day of trial to the original plea offer.
Why do you think that they were? I may have asked you this, just a refresher. They were willing to take the rape off of, uh, to not charge him with rape if he took the 7 years. That was the biggest charge. That was before they had all of their evidence and were able to contact the victims and get their case in chief together. Why do you think they took the rape off off of the table?
Well, I mean, if you remember when we first started talking about this case, it was not a foregone conclusion that they were going to ever be able to support that claim.
Right.
And so, but as they got close to the trial and as they saw that this person was not going back into the cult, and as this person is becoming a better witness for them, it becomes a better case. And so they're willing to proceed with it. I mean, they don't want to lose a high profile case if they can help it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think at the beginning they were willing to just to secure some convictions.
Okay, because that's a big difference between 7 years and 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
it's a big
mean,
difference between 30 years and life without parole.
absolutely. Which she should have taken that second deal, but uh, it's hard for narcissists to come to terms with their own guilt, and he would have
Yep.
had to admit, his guilt, and I don't think that was it. So when Booker began he re-examined the victim. I believe that Eligio really badgered him to put his cult members on this witness stand. The first witness that he brought in, his name is Jax, and he's the first one to introduce this theory of spiritual improv, Andrew. And spiritual improv, yes.
My.
Okay.
Spiritual improv is where Eligio played these characters, and they were all in on it, and that explained the slapping and the abuse that this was all a skit. This was all for likes because, as Eligio explained in his interrogation audio, Black people are hard to reach. When he was talking about quantum physics and melanin and grounding, and when he was discussing his 5 sciences, it was too hard to reach Black people. They weren't paying attention to him. But as
Hold
soon
on.
as he turned it,
Can I ask a question?
yes,
Okay. So I'm confused. So you're saying that Black people don't understand physics?
Mhm.
yes, and
I got that one. All right.
I'll admit this Black person doesn't know anything about physics, but I can Google it.
Oh Lordy.
I'm pretty sure that's not true.
My
No,
neck,
quantum
neck.
physics to be exact.
Quantum
And that
physics.
when
Oh,
he was
got it. Okay.
yes, when he was teaching his message, he wasn't getting any attention, which is untrue. So he had to perform as the three god to slap people and to get them in line, in tune, and this was all a big act. And I guess that was to extend the violence in the cult. And so his first witness came up and he introduced this theory that this was all for kicks and giggles and likes and clicks. And I, he didn't say anything. Next uh, witness they brought up is named Juju. And Juju fell apart on the witness stand. He decided he wanted to do a dissertation on Mr. Bishop's innocence, and he was promptly kicked off the off the stand. And he was caught in a lie. They said, weren't you in a video? They
Everybody
asked him, did
lied.
you experience any violence in the cult? And he said no. And they said, weren't you in a video where Mr. Bishop slaps a member named Loyal for giving him a strawberry? And he goes, oh, that was just the spiritual improv. And I think after he got caught in that lie, he decided to implode. And that's when he started to go forward with his speech about Mr. Bishop's innocent. And the bailiff had to escort him off the stand. He ranted and raved all the way out of the courtroom in the presence of the jury.
Oh, so that's just what you want, is that the prosecution is accusing you of being the leader of a crazy cult and have one of your cult members go crazy. Like right in front of everybody. That's pretty classic stuff.
Would you have stopped listening to your client and would you have proceeded with putting more on there?
So sometimes you got to throw a Hail Mary pass.
Right.
Let me tell you this. So the attorneys the attorney for the defense gets to control what witnesses they call. The defendant doesn't have any say in that. The only exception is the defendant himself. An attorney can't keep his client off the witness stand if he wants to testify.
Right.
And so from a strategic standpoint, I might not have. Of course, sometimes you're just like, whatever, dude. It's your funeral.
Exactly.
I don't know how else to help you. I've done everything I can.
Exactly.
And if you want to go down in a ball of flames, I'll watch you. I'll throw some gas on that fire for you.
I knew it.
What he did.
I knew it.
Put on.
Yeah. I mean, I had a when I first started out, I was had a very senior trial attorney, and he was starting to lose his edge. And I remember he was going to go to a case on an arson where a husband tried to burn his wife, and it was he doused her in gas and threw lit matches at her. And his defense was that it was a practical joke, that he got drunk and it was just a practical joke. And I remember looking at him and thinking, that is a horrible defense. Like, you should definitely not go to trial on that, because that's not it's like the celestial whatever you just called it, the improv. No, that's just, you're just trying to burn your wife with gas and you're just throwing matches at it. It's like a horrible thing to do, and you should definitely be convicted for it. And so I don't know what the trial improv is. At some point in time, the appellate counsel, one of the things that they can do is ask for a hearing where the trial attorney has to explain his strategy and why you did or didn't call witnesses. I did a case all the way to the Michigan Supreme Court where my client's original trial attorney didn't call a very specific witness, and it went all the way to Michigan Supreme Court, and they said, yeah, he was entitled to a new trial to have that witness testify. And so there is a method for the courts to decide whether or not a trial attorney, if you're calling a witness or you're not calling a witness, that is considered inside the purview of the defense attorney. And the only thing that, if they've got a trial strategy for doing it or not doing it, then you don't have to call witnesses, but they can't make you call witnesses, and they can't stop you from calling witnesses. So
I guess you have a lot to choose from.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard. Sometimes if you are really disliking your client, it's hard when they're wanting you to do things that you know are bad to not just give in to them and say, fine, I'll do that. And then when it goes badly, to say, look, I told you that was going to happen, but we did it your way. And you got to really resist that urge, because you got to do what is right for the client. And sometimes they think that what is right is not, and it's definitely not.
Well, I believe that he of the courtroom saying this is malicious prosecution. The next witness,
oh Lord,
the defense brought up was Aya, one of his wives, quote unquote wives, and she decided that she was going to bring a notebook, her binder. She was all prepared to give her testimony. And of course, the state objected, and she got irate.
She ain't
because
get Ira.
because the judge would not allow her to have notes on the witness.
Really? She didn't understand that you got to testify from memory. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she was prepped very well, but she did get all the way to the witness box and with her notes, and they had to retrieve them. And she goes, "Why can't I have them?" And the judge is like, "I'm not answering your questions. You answer
Yeah.
their
No, yeah.
questions."
So I'll tell you a funny story about that. I had a trial here, and it was a very well-known vice detective. Okay, and he was well known, but not in a positive way.
Okay.
So there's a lot of shady stuff. This particular individual had conducted a year or 2 year long investigation into massage parlors, and
Okay.
you spent all the departmental money on massages, but then never made any arrests.
Uh-oh.
Um, and so it was just he was one of these guys. He's a legend. If I said his name, a lot of people would know him. But anyways, I had this trial, and he's on the witness stand, and he's
Hey.
testifying, and
Welcome.
he's got this piece of paper in front of him,
Oh.
and I object for a moment, and I ask the judge to retrieve the paper, and the judge does, and he gives it to me, and I go to the prosecuting attorney, who I respected, and she was a well-liked local prosecutor, and I showed it to her, and I go, "What is this?" She goes, "I have no idea." And it was like a third supplemental police report that he never turned over to anybody.
Ooh.
And he was sneaking it onto the witness stand, and the judge was like having none of it. He's like, you can't. He just let the jury out, read the guy the riot act, and we did all the curative stuff you can do. But you're not allowed to have material in front of you unless an attorney gives it to you.
Right.
And it's only to refresh your memory. It's like, if you can't remember a fact, or if you want to impeach somebody with a written statement that they had made, that's the only time. But you don't get to go on the stand with all your notes so that you remember to say stuff.
I was shocked that they let her get all the way to the witness stand.
Well, it happened so fast. I mean, it's like when they're calling witnesses, I don't know if you noticed this, but like the attorneys are busy doing other stuff, like they got their heads down, and all of a sudden you look up and there's somebody sitting there with a notepad. It's like probably nobody told her she could do that. She sounds like the kind of person that would just attempt to do it, and like, why can't I? Like, you're not going to tell me what I can and can't say.
Well, before she made her testimony, she was like, "Before we start, I would like to," and the judge, of course, gathered her up and was like, "No, you will not be making a statement prior to your testimony."
Yeah.
And so the judge had to get her. So
did they ask her questions?
Yes.
Okay, so she was allowed to answer questions.
Yes. She just couldn't have her cheat sheet.
Right. Well, yeah, neither can the police.
Exactly. They asked her about violence in
Nick.
First they asked her, "Are you a member of carbonation?"
I just caught on.
She stumbled on that question. She was like, "Well, carbonation is an idea and blah 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 blah," and she really couldn't offer
Nick.
the truth. That carbonation is that she was a member. But when it came to the spiritual improv, she testified that they started doing this slapping after they saw Chris Rock slapped by Will Smith on the Oscars. That this is what inspired them.
They didn't realize that wasn't okay.
No. However, they said that this was because remember, the victim was slapped several times before the sexual assault, and attorney Thomas brilliantly said, "Do you realize that the slap by by Will Smith was happened after the alleged rape, And of course, the jury, it all clicked in their minds that this is a big lie. And so she was proven to be a liar on the stage.
So the reason they slap people is because they saw Will Smith slap Chris Rock,
Yes.
according to their sworn testimony. And they
Absolutely.
thought that it was okay for Will Smith to slap Chris Rock over making a joke about his wife.
Yes. And I think that's exactly how the jury thought, oh, you're condoning this bad behavior. And so, yeah, her testimony did not serve. I don't think any of their testimony served him very well. I'm trying to think, what else did she do? Can you guys help me out in the chat? She there was something else she said. Everything is like a blur to me without my notes. Oh my goodness, Andrew, how do you do this constantly every day of your life? It is so overwhelming.
I'm blessed with a very, very good memory. And my wife is sometimes amazed. She's like, "How did you remember that person?" I mean, I will circle back and someone will say something. I'm like, "Oh yeah, they mentioned this all the way back here," and I'll be like, "Hey, you talked about this guy." And I don't know. It's a blessing. Sometimes it's a curse.
You're right, especially if you're in an argument with you.
Yeah. She just.
I heard that. Oh, another thing she said.
I'm always right, but I keep it to myself. How about
there
that?
you go. You're a smart man. You are a smart man. I hope your wife is listening to this. She, what was it? She herself. I'm the one who uploaded the videos um to the websites, the revenge porn, and the defense attorney was like, "You're admitting this?" Oh no, she admitted that they had been talking to him on this constantly about the case, and I think that the jury really reacted to that they had been communicating. I think there was 80 something calls that she admitted to having with him where they discussed the case in every day what's happening in court. So the defense just I don't think that he was served well by putting them on the
he was served just right.
Kayla Buckner also admitted to they made her look like a liar, and that was just I don't know if he had any choice. He didn't have very many
he had nobody
witnesses to put up there. He didn't have a case.
Yeah, but you don't have to put witnesses up.
Thank you.
And that's just it. I mean, I've tried plenty of cases where I don't call a single witness. And I just simply you ask for an instruction from the judge that you're not to judge the case based on who calls more witnesses. That defense counsel is not required to call witnesses. And I will talk to them about that in voir dire, about what happens if I don't call any witnesses. And you understand that I can't prove a negative, right?
Right.
And I can't have somebody come in here unless they're an alibi witness and say something didn't happen, because you can't ever prove a negative, right?
For lying on the stand, would the judge have ruled right then and there with perjury, or did they?
No, the judge would never do that because that would create a mistrial.
Okay.
What if somebody lied and perjured themselves on the stand, then the state would prosecute them separately for that.
Case.
What do you think the likelihood of that is? I mean,
you remember, these are the same people that were flying drones into the jail, and it took them forever to even charge them for that. So it's not uncommon. The prosecution won. These people were discredited.
Exactly.
What are you going to do? Charge them for lying under oath on top of all of that?
Right.
I mean, they're in a cult, so of course they're going to.
Oh, now you admitting they're in a cult.
I don't think they'll do anything.
Thank you.
I've never seen a prosecutor charge someone with. Actually, that's not true. There was a case, a very famous case, out of Oregon, Portland, where the prosecutor charged an expert witness, Dr. Plunkett. I want to say his name was, anyways, he was the first expert in shaken baby syndrome to come out and say that there's no such thing as shaken baby syndrome.
Oh, I remember those cases.
Yeah,
in the
I
90s.
was really involved in those when I first started my career. I did a number of them, and now we have a Miranda warning, and he represented himself, and so the vast.
Oh, Miranda represented himself in court.
Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Christian man was really
You
conflicted.
gotta put that aside. You have to
That's
put
what
that
I
aside.
thought.
You cannot let your own moral conscience. It's okay. It's a horrible thing to have to say. All right, and I'm gonna say it out loud right now. But when you are in my line of work, you sometimes have to be a killer, and not like in an actual sense, but in the courtroom. And sometimes people don't have it coming, and you still have to gut them right there in front of the jury.
And we're gonna leave that right there because at the end of the day, you still got to answer for what you do. When you go to meet your maker, you got to still answer for what you do. Now, your job is to be fair. That's the only thing you can ask of anybody is to be fair and hear it out. That's their job. Their job is not to put, no, I go for what's right, what's wrong, and what's wrong. If you're wrong, you're wrong. At the end of the day, like I said, Nature Nut is the only fool that returns to the crime scene. He knew for a fact they let him go for 20 years. When it came down to Maisha, he comes back to the crime scene and creates more havoc. They're not going to do that again. How many more people needs to be hurt because I got to put away? Nah, people have to think about these things because everything from there is on their hands, right? This is on, no, lawyers, that's your job. That's your job to put away your compass. That's your job, not the juror's job. The juror's job is to hear it out and be fair. Be fair, hear it out, and make a decision. That is judge. I'm not stopping who I am because I'm a juror, but I'm going to hear the same way people come here. I hear you out. That does not mean I agree with you, and that does not mean I do not have the final say, but I will hear you out. I will be fair and hear you out. You might say something that might change my mind, but there is no way on this earth I'm going to hear so much destruction from one person and push that to the side. Now, if he didn't do it, if he didn't say, she said no, then Ninja, your ass is mine. If it was the thing that he said, she say, whatever, then I'm like, he not on trial for that. Hey, baby. Hey, my sweet pea. Hey, Truly, baby. We got to be careful. We got to be very careful because if they didn't F up the first time, Nature Nut would be in jail, right? They would be in jail. But I'm not going to have, that's like somebody like Charles Manson. Well, you know what? It's my chance to say, you know what? Is he a menace to society? If he's a psychopath, is he going to hurt any more people? You damn Skippy. That's why that judge gave him life without parole, to make sure he don't never hurt nobody again that's out in the street. Nobody have to like it. Nobody have to call it fair. But nothing that he did was fair. Nothing that Natureboy did was fair. Not one thing. Beating people with belts, throwing them in the closet. He revenge sex all the time. Every time somebody wanted to leave, he did revenge sex to make them stay. Look, that's your job, lawyers, liars, is to take a guilty person and make a guilty person innocent, right? And it's different if you don't know. If you don't know that they're guilty, but they're guilty. But if you know they're not even guilty, if you know they're a menace to society, they are a menace to society. And listen, I'm going to do my job because everybody has to have legal defense. I'm going to do my job to the bare minimum, but I will do my job. So I will not be the one to hire. Now, if you're not a menace to society, that's different. That is different. Hey, the best lawyer win. So it's a shame that it's not even about if somebody's guilty or innocent. It's about the lawyers and the prosecution, right? It's always about who studied the best, who got the best mouthpiece, who got the best. It ain't even about if these people are innocent or guilty. Because y'all know they kind of get a thing of, I wish we could watch them. Right? I wanted to get into some of, but we will not be getting into that. But I'm glad that we did hear what the lawyer had to say. So yes, he will be going for an appeal. They will be trying. He said they can go for appeal, and he's gonna also try for a retrial because his lawyer, quote unquote, wasn't so prepared. So we do know he does have them two options to do. That is good to know, right? Now, the thing is, if they're going to let him get an appeal, right, they have to approve the appeal. And I don't know if she asked that or not. I didn't hear that question asked, or maybe it went by me, because sometimes things go right by me. But guys, in about an hour, half an hour, I'm going to be back with Musa and 369. That will be next. So come on back. So I want to do it in different pieces, right? As ex-members speak out, that will be part 2. And I still got to get to the, still have to get to the Aaron interview, but I said next up will be Musa. So, Captain said donate. She said donate. Support. She said support the channel. She said support the channel. But either way, I will be back, guys. I will be back. So, and thanks to Lisa. Say what? For all her great work that she do. Ooh. Welcome, baby.